The UK is one of the most miserable countries in the world, and here's why. Now, this is not my opinion. This is from an article that I've been reading today from the Business Insider. Now, let me give you some of the points of this article, right? Which is really interesting. But first of all, do you believe it to be true? And it doesn't even talk about things like weather and safety and all these things. Doesn't even talk about all these. I'm sure it takes that into consideration when they're doing these surveys, right? But let's break it down a little bit as to how this has happened, right? Because it is officially voted the second most miserable country in the world. And remember, we're not at war, right? It's crazy. Now, this data comes from surveying 500,000 people across 71 different countries. And they do a mental health assessment, essentially. And we scored 49 out of, up to a couple of hundred. And it's like, second to last. Now, I bet you're wondering, who was at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak? Uzbekistan. It's funny, but it's not funny, right? And some of the points that I recognized when I was reading through this article, it was like, wealth doesn't equal well-being. So whilst the UK has money and there's other countries that doesn't have money, it doesn't equate to well-being. And I mean well-being in more than one sense, not just your mental. So number one, your mental well-being. Yeah, how happy are you mentally, emotionally, based on all the elements. And number two, we're talking about here your well-being, like with the medical care. So is there something to say about, because in the UK, right, no matter how much you pay on your medical care, you still got to go through certain processes. I've got private medical care, and you still got to use the typical A&E. There's a couple of A&Es that are private medical, but they have open and closing time. So it doesn't make sense. But also, we're paying into this system to get free healthcare, right? So anyway, is that the question? Why is that? I don't know. And a couple of the reasons why obviously the UK is struggling, right? I'm pulling out what I thought was I'm giving you my opinion, right? Because obviously rising bills, everything's going up, cost of living is going up, cost of food is going up. People are just generally feeling poorer because everything's going up, and obviously inflation, and your salary is not keeping up to pace with the increase, not keeping up pace with what things are costing you. So it just doesn't make sense. And then the Brexit fallout, and let me add, whether we like it or not, the low trust for politicians. It has to be at an all-time low. I do not want to know who's going to go into power next because of this low trust of politicians. It's like, these guys are crap, these guys are crap, these guys are crap, blah, blah. We might as well try these new guys. Before you know it, what's his face will be in there? The Tate brother. He'll be in there. Maximum Achievement Summit, Dubai. If you want to hang out with me and Bianca, it's not just hang out, I shouldn't say that. 5 days in Dubai, fun in the sun, everything created for you, but also we're working on your personal development, your personal brand, your image, and sales, marketing, the power of persuasion. Listen, we've planned an incredible 5 days for you. Check out the details in the link below. Oh gosh. And then of course, lifestyle, safety, high processed foods. When you go to other territories, when you travel the world, and you go to other places and spaces, I feel like we just have so much high processed foods. I was about to ask Mrs. C, she's in the room today, why that is, right? And as well, one thing I'll add is there's less community. Even here in our community in Dubai, it must have here 1,000, maybe 1,000 properties in this complex. 1,000? Less? There or thereabouts. Bianca's made an effort to go and have a community and meet new people. You know, there's a dad's group, we're meeting, we're connecting. Like in the UK, like everyone just wants to be left alone. You don't want to talk to your neighbor. You don't true, right?
True.
Like you don't want to talk to your neighbor, you don't want to meet anybody. Oh, Sally wants to get some sugar. There ain't no getting no sugar over there. Like, there's no sense of community. And I feel like that creates isolation, which is probably another reason why this is what it is. Because you're isolated, you haven't got a community, you haven't got, so there's no one to check on you. You'll lay dead in your flat for weeks before anybody notices, unless there's a smell coming out the door. Ain't nobody care, right? So that's another thing, right? And it's the young people that I feel the pressure for, because they're going to be the ones who pick up this check, for sure. And as I read through the article, it's just, they're going to feel it with their mental health. And, one thing I would say is a big contradiction. I looked at a happiness report a year or so back, and the UK was ranked like number 19. How does that even make sense, right? Who's saying they're happy with this struggling society? And remember, I'm half and half now. I'm still UK at heart, but I'm over here in the promised land in the UAE. So it's an interesting one, right? So do we trust the leadership? Is that another reason for its failings? Is that the reason why? I want to know. So anyway, I'm going to put the link to this in the description below. Have a read of this. The UK being the second most miserable country in the world, why and how it indexes that way, and whether you feel the same. And they've got a picture here of someone's umbrella being blown away. Oh my God. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at y'all with my UK people. I'm just laughing at the situation. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with this comment, this statement?